Well, greetings, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the Chief Chat. It is good to see you. We got an action-packed show for you today. So settle in, say hello. Let me know, where are you today? Where are you tuning in from? Good to see so many good friends. What's up, Keith? How's it going, buddy? Joanne. Hey, James. I know James is in Detroit, Rock City. Good to see Carolyn, one of our winners of the mini monthly workshop, along with Barbara Shemansky. Congratulations to you two. We'll be talking about you guys a little bit more. What's up, Harrison G, who's in the hot seat today? Laura Fry, our amazing support customer happiness agent galore, who helps us create the monthly mini workshops. Our man Mike Lucas is in the house. We may have Mike on today to talk about some cool stuff he's been doing in his own business, starting to build up a list and having some cool wins with the help of some of Chris's teachings. And of course, we had Chris Orzechowski is our featured trainer, our guest trainer this month. So a lot to cover. Want to make sure you guys are engaged and educated and active in all the different ways that you can be benefiting from Copy Chief this month. What's up, everybody? See the comments. Good to see you. Yeah. Thanks, Daniel. Glad you like the new place. Look, I've got my Nobody Writes Alone. This, by the way, is the 2020 logo update. So if you win a t-shirt or earn a t-shirt through your points accumulation, then that is the logo you'll be sporting on your chest. Today I have my special custom Papa Kev t-shirt, which, if you don't know, is the nickname that some of my coaching students gave me, particularly those in the super group. I want to say Allison Carpio came up with it first, because I'm a bit fatherly to the people I coach. And I like it. I like it that way. I think they mean it as a compliment. And so Cindy Childress was kind enough to have the shirt made for me and sent it to me as a gift. I thought that was really awesome. Is Cindy here today? Cindy doesn't get to see me wearing her t-shirt, but love my Papa Kev t-shirt. So welcome, everybody. Let me Papa Kev you today. And it's great to have you all here. So I want to dive in and celebrate some of our winners. As you know, we create lots of cool stuff for you guys to do so that we're not just talking about how to write better copy. We're not just theorizing. We want to make sure that you're actually doing, right? Because writers write, and we love to have a purpose to write. And the way that we get better is by doing it and posting it. You know, it's a whole different thing when you know you're going to share your work publicly amongst people you trust to give you some feedback and sort of gauge where you're at amongst your peers and find some inspiration in the stuff they're doing. For me personally, the few times in my career that I had something like that before I started Copy Chief, it was really super valuable to me. So let's start with, first of all, let's talk about our training that we just did, the money multipliers with Chris Orzechowski. Great training. By the way, interesting, our first training where there were no questions at the end of the training. Isn't that interesting? And I knew exactly why when there were no questions, because it was such a simple, straightforward, clear training, right? We didn't try to cover a whole way to create a funnel or nothing too elaborate. It was, we try to keep all of our trainings really clear and concise so that you can consume any of them in about an hour and then go to work doing the thing. You'll know exactly what to do so you can just start writing. And Chris's training was very much like that. So I took it as a sort of a bit of a victory that there were no questions. I think at the end of the training, everybody was just ready to start writing what Chris had shown us, the money multiplier emails and launch right into our workshop, which started yesterday. So if you weren't on the training, definitely go in and watch it as soon as possible, because the deadline for the workshop is Wednesday. And I'll show you in just a minute what we're doing in the workshop. But essentially, you are writing an email and with an upsell in it, in the PS, so a subtle sort of very cool feeling upsell. And we're going to choose a winner. I'm going to buy that email from you for $200. We're going to put it into our sequence for a while to give it some love and some light of day, so you can say that Kevin Rogers and Copy Chief has been a client of yours. Both Chris and I will give you individual video testimonials about your copywriting badassery. So pretty cool. Oh, and plus you get a Copy Chief t-shirt with that logo on it. How cool is that, right? So dive into that and enjoy that. And this is what we do in Copy Chief. We all help each other write. Nobody writes alone. And we have lots of fun with it. So here is the workshop thread. So after you watch the training, you'll come over here to the copywriting challenges section. So you can watch the training replay right here. Here's the challenge details. You find everything you need. By the way, you can always find everything you need in the This Month in Copy Chief section. Once you get over to the copywriting challenges, you'll see its own section is Money Multiplier Emails with Chris O. So you can watch the training replay right here, get all the challenge details, and then start posting your submissions below. And as you can see, we've got the action started already. And so what we're writing here, read this first. Here's the challenge details. Again, easy links to get back to the replays. Of course, these are all available in your dashboard, which, as you may have noticed, that's where you log in first now in Copy Chief, straight into that dashboard. So you can always find all the trainings you want. You can find your beat sheets, so you can get the frameworks and everything, like super convenient. And then come into the forums through there. It's now what we call single sign-on, so you have the same login to the dashboard and the forums. So we're streamlining everything for you. Here it is. Use the examples Chris showed you in the training to write an over-the-top money multiplier email selling a physical monthly newsletter for an upsell for Copy Chief. So what this is the trainings are about money multipliers are emails that get sent by everyone and that everybody opens, but very few people think to sell with. And in fact, in a lot of cases, you probably shouldn't sell with. So a great example that's in the training and the one that we're using in the workshop is what we call the order confirmation email, right? And you've seen Chris talk about these. He's really great at writing these. They're made famous by CD Baby, has one famous example of them where it's this over-the-top, super fun style message, welcome message, confirming your order, and really gets across the personality of the company rather than just a boring, here's the thing you bought and your order number, and you'll move this to your receipts file, or you'll just, delete it and never look at it again. Why not take that moment with an email that people are going to open because they just bought a thing and they want to make sure it's confirmed and it's right and they have access to it, and make it a super fun introduction. So this is where you can put a lot of personality into it. Chris talked about a funny one where I was sitting here on my laptop, and I saw an alert come up that your name had just bought this product, and I was so excited. I jumped up on the table and started shouting your name. The other people in the coffee shop didn't seem to appreciate it, but that's their problem, just fun stuff like that, right? That just brings you into a moment. And there's some great copy lessons in the framework that Chris created in the training, which is write visually, right? Create characters, use dialogue, stuff that we want to be doing across all of our copy. And this framework of this kind of email is a great way to practice that. So enjoy getting into the workshop, and then the upsell is just a simple, it's actually a product that doesn't exist yet. It's a physical newsletter to accompany your Copy Chief membership. So you're writing an email to people who just purchased their Copy Chief membership. You're writing a fun, over the top welcome about how we all reacted when we saw their order come in. And then in the PS, just in a line or two, you're saying, hey, if you'd like to add to your order our physical newsletter, it's the best of everything we do in Copy Chief, delivered to your mailbox in a fun, easy to read, paper newsletter. So this is actually Chris's newsletter, main monthly. And I chose that particular upsell because it doesn't exist yet. We are someday going to create a physical newsletter component to Copy Chief. And this will be a cool way for us to get your ideas on what might be in that newsletter too, right? So have fun with it, be creative. Let's just look at some so you get an idea of what people are doing with these. Here is Amanda, who's one of our badassadors. So subject line, hey, Chris. So you can use Chris's name, but this is where we'd have a dynamic field. So whoever the person who just bought is, their name would go there. Subject line, hey, Chris, welcome to the party. Today started out like any other day at Copy Chief. Kevin was filling in his beard with a fresh tube of mascara. Alex was drafting a tutorial on how to give a proper hug. And Jimmy was telling us everything you need to know about marketing you can learn from Cinderella. When our Queen Ambassador, Angie, busted through the door with amazing news. Chris just joined Copy Chief, she shouted, ripping off her black velvet cape and waving it around like a racing flag at the Indy 500. This is great. Laura from customer support jumped up and started running around the room, throwing fistfuls of confetti pulled from the pockets of her romper. This is so great because obviously Amanda knows the team very well here. So she's using specific details. And this is, again, one of the lessons in these emails is like create characters, show us visually what it looks like for them to be doing these things. Then she said, how long has she been carrying confetti around? And how do I even know the word romper? Oh, this is great, Amanda. We started blasting Eye of the Tiger from Angie's iPhone, and we're up on our desk shouting, today's the day. Chris joined Copy Chief. The plan, Mike was in the bathroom. Alex banged on the door with two fists yelling, Chris joined Copy Chief, Mike. Chris joined Copy Chief. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment, Mike hollered through the door. Oh, sorry, I won't disturb you, she said, turning back to the impromptu dance party. So you can see, it just goes on super fun like that. And, you give them their login info. And how great is that compared to just, here's your details and good luck, or, such a different experience to have fun like this. It shows the fun nature of a company. It introduces you to real marketing. So have fun with this. Do your research. By the way, one detail to keep in mind, we debated a minute on the actual training, Chris and I, about whether you should be writing this as me or just from the team. And I decided you should just write it from the team because I don't want you to have to try to write this kind of copy in my voice, right? I think that'll just like saddle your creativity, and I don't want you to have to do that. I want you to just have fun, put your personality, your knowledge of what goes on in Copy Chief into this, and that's what's going to make this so fun. So good job, Amanda. So funny, so great. Yeah, excellent job. So, and let's just see how an ambassador will reach out. Oh, and by the way, I want to point out, subtle with the upsell. One of the lessons in this training was that if you're going to add an upsell opportunity to an email like this, it's got to be much shorter than the rest of the email. Otherwise, it just looks like you're just trying to reach in their pockets and get more money out of them, right? This is clearly like, took our time having fun, celebrating you as a new member. And oh, by the way, heads up, Copy Chief publishes a monthly print newsletter called The X Factor. Ooh, I like that, Amanda. When it arrives at your door, you'll be thrilled with the writing and business building tips, interviews with leaders in the industry, and case studies, all designed to take you far and fast on your professional journey. It sells for $99 a month, but right now, with this link only, you can lock in your VIP $50 discount and get it for just $49 a month for life. Click that link above to get started, and we'll see you inside Copy Chief. Fantastic. So there it is at the hands of a pro like Amanda. In all your, is Amanda here? And all your personality into that. Amanda's not even here. Oh man, so good. Great job, Amanda. I wish you were here to hear us gloating on you. So that's the challenge, and you're going to love the training. So again, if you haven't made time to watch it yet, please do that today or over the weekend, because the deadline to submit your email is Wednesday. And then Chris and I are going to get together and pick a winner, and we'll announce that winner on Friday. Also, one other thing that we emphasized a lot on the training, and I want to reemphasize, is get it in early, because Chris is going to jump in, make time to jump in and give everybody feedback. And the earlier you get it in to get Chris's feedback, the more feedback you might get. You might get 2 or 3 rounds of notes and feedback from Chris to improve it. So you're also welcome to comment on each other's, or if you see any little typos or mistakes or anything like, or something, if you read somebody's and something isn't clear, feel free to add that feedback. Like, you know, we're all friends here. Nobody writes alone. We do it together. So don't be afraid to jump in and coach each other too. All right, cool. Yeah. Angie already does have a cape. And again, that's what made me laugh so hard. Angie, you made it into Ben's video, his end of school year video, the shot of you on stage singing with him. I think it was Day Tripper at the X Factor party. And so I just saw you in that cape. So it was so fun to read that. All right. What's next? So also a monthly mini workshop just wrapped up. Again, if you're not clear, the difference between a training workshop and a monthly mini workshop is it's just a little bit of extra exercise. We try to keep it super simple and let you have fun with it and really coach each other in those threads. So those are not coached by the person that did the training, or sometimes not connected to a specific training. It's just a fun writing challenge where we give you points for whoever gets the most like on their submission, and whoever gives the most feedback and most helpful feedback in the challenge. So in the workshop. So this year, this month, we did guilty pleasures. So the simple challenge was to write about your favorite quarantine guilty pleasure. Like, what's something you started doing that you probably wouldn't have been doing if it wasn't for quarantine, right? You're locked inside, you know, with all the heartache of the pandemic, everybody being sort of locked down and cooped up at home for weeks on end, created some extra time for us. And we all, I think, adopted some new habits and indulged in some guilty pleasures. So aside of gin, mine was Smuling. It's a singing app. It's like a karaoke app that a friend introduced me to that I fell in love with. It's a great way to practice your vocals and hear them back. And then Addison Rice, there's Addison. Addison started doing it, and Angie's doing it now, and it's been super fun to do duets and things like that with Smule. So that was my guilty pleasure. And I asked you guys to share your guilty pleasure and write about it as you would maybe like a social media post. So let me see if we can share that. That's the rundown. Go away, bar. Here we go. Guilty pleasures. So the winner, who got the most likes on her submission, was Barbara Shemansky. Congratulations, Barbara. If you're watching this, awesome. You win some extra points to your total. And you can cash those in for glorious prizes like a Copy Chief t-shirt. And the winner of the best feedback was Carolyn Gretton. Congratulations, Carolyn. Thank you so much for giving all that great feedback. Here we go. There's the winners as announced by Laura. Super cool. So again, this is a way for us to have fun doing some writing and post it up so it has some purpose behind it and helping each other by coaching and, you know, just pointing out what you see, what you like, what anything. The most helpful feedback, if you're ever worried about, oh, well, I don't want to seem like I'm judging somebody's copy or whatever. It's not so much about saying whether it's good or bad. It's just about, did anything confuse you, or was anything unclear, or like super unbelievable, or things like that, right? That's oftentimes the most helpful feedback. If you think about what's the Cub process for critiquing copy that I think Mark Ford invented at Agora. Is it confusing, uninteresting, boring? Is that what it is? No, confusing, unbelievable, or boring. I think that's what it is. I think that's the Cub criteria. And those are three things that, you know, it's easy to think something's clear in your head and then you write it, and for the reader, it's not as clear as it could be. So helping people make sure their stuff is clear, easy to read, and doesn't get you hung up anywhere is sometimes the simplest feedback you can give and most helpful feedback. So don't be intimidated to jump in and critique other people's stuff. There's always something you can add as a living, breathing human being who reads and wants to be entertained and influenced by what you read. Don't worry about your experience level, okay? Cool. Also want to get into some best things today. So let's see if anybody has a best thing. Please raise your hand and come on with me and share it. If you don't know, a best thing is simply the best thing that you've learned recently, where you learned it from, why it was particularly meaningful to you, how you applied it in your life or business, and then you end with an if-then statement, right? So if you're wondering whether you're qualified to critique anyone's copy, then remember that you can always just help them make sure that their copy is clear, believable, and compelling, something like that, right? So that's how you end with an if-then statement, whatever your topic is. And by the way, best things are a really cool way to make authority content, right? If you should be sharing the things you're learning and discovering and making little videos out to your community to promote yourself and your business. Really helpful, super quick, fun. You can do these in a minute or two. In fact, we just did these in RFL in session 1 of Real Free Life number 10. What a great group of people in there taking action. And it's so fun to watch those best things videos. Something you could use forever in your marketing to help boost your authority. Cool. So let's do some best things. We got Angie. Let's start with Angie, and then we got Addison, my 2 rock stars, stepping up to the mic, as always, live mic ready, my Smuling partners, although Angie and I haven't been able to do a duet yet because the damn thing keeps glitching on us. But
yeah, it's weird.
I'm excited. But I want to start watching your Smules, Angie. You were telling me that you had to announce that don't be alarmed if you hear belting out of nowhere.
Yeah, because my boyfriend had been gone for about a month visiting family, and that's when I took up my Smule habit. So it's not a big deal for me to like lock myself in my office and start singing all of a sudden. But then one of our other members, Elise, had invited me to do a duet, and I was like, "Oh crap, that invitation's about to run out of time because they're time limited." And
Right.
I told Andrew, I had to do this song, but you're just gonna hear me like randomly start singing at the top of my lungs. And I figured I would give you kind of a heads up that that's coming since the music's gonna be in my ears. And he was like, this is not a strange thing for me. I just kind of figured that that's you doing you. So it's kind of fun.
Just random stuff. Yeah. At least when you do it, people know you're actually singing, Angie. My wife will run into my office thinking I've stubbed my toe or I'm bleeding somehow because I think I'm singing like Jim Morrison, and really it's just I'm yelling very loud, just screaming.
Yeah, and you can always tell that it's me singing because usually at some point Stella, who's over here sleeping, makes her presence known and decides to accompany me. And because the Android version of the app only lets you take one take,
Uh,
usually there's a cat yowling somewhere in my take. So a little Easter egg for you.
okay,
Um,
cool. So let's hear your best thing.
so, hey everyone, I'm Angie, and the best thing that I learned this week is kind of a repeat of a lesson that I have to hear over and over again, and that is always be working on your own thing. So, the past 6 weeks, I think everybody knows, has been a little bit crazy unless you've been living under a rock. And I have found myself pivoting in a big way and working on a lot of big projects, which is great because money. But I also let my own stuff slip by the wayside. And then as I found myself getting more and more frustrated with the amount of work that I was doing, and none of it was really lighting me up personally and that's supporting the mission that I want to do, I just remembered that I needed to be working on my own thing. So I had a lot of fun with it. I got into this newsletter that I've been created called Kick Monday's Ass. There's a theme going on here, in case you can't tell. And I've just been sharing what I've been doing, and it's been the most fun, fulfilling work that I've done in a long time. Just talking about the things that I'm passionate about, encouraging people to get up and kick ass every day. So if you find yourself frustrated by overwhelming client work, if you're not feeling lit up by the work that you do, remember that the first thing you should be doing every day when you get up is building your own thing so that you have the freedom to operate the business that you want.
Fantastic, Angie. Love it. Beautiful. And I love this theme you have going, the kick ass. Kick Monday's ass alone just sounds like so brandable. It sounds like something that I'm like, of course, hasn't that been there already? So I think you're filling a perfect void. I totally want to kick Monday's ass.
Well, and you gave me that name too through a lot of your coaching. With
Well,
the and
permission
I
to kick ass, I think, is the thing I always say to you, Angie. Get out of your head. Permission to kick ass. Make time for you.
Absolutely. So there you go, guys. Permission to
Love it.
kick ass is the thing that I'm loving.
I love it. Good stuff, Angie. Thanks for sharing. Very cool. And by the way, speaking of kicking ass, I want to also mention there's so many winners, so many cool things going on here in Copy Chief land. I want to congratulate Derek, who was the winner of the Facebook ad challenge that from Mike Renard's Facebook training back in March. We chose Derek. I don't know if Derek's here, but the deal was similar to this new challenge. We chose one ad. One of the hardest things when you're in a new style of copywriting or a new format is getting some proof on it, right? So I love being able to let you guys write something, choose a winner, pay you for it, and use it so you can have some proof that your stuff was out there in action. And Derek was the ad we chose. With the Facebook ad, it was we're going to choose Derek's an ad. We chose Derek's. Mike helped him polish it up, get it as good as it could be, and then we started testing it. And I'm proud to say that Derek's ad, I don't have hard numbers in front of me. We're still in the testing phase, but Mike says it's doing very well and could very likely become a control. So I'm going to go ahead and pay Derek his $500 for being the winner and for creating a ROI producing ad for us. Congratulations, Derek. Kick-ass job. $500 cash coming to you. And I will be making your testimonial as well. So super cool. That's what we do here. We write and we implement. I love it. So that's that. And let's now hear from our man, Addison Rice, my other Shmuel buddy, and man, a great guy, a great friend. Also a dude. Oh, how you're sideways. What's up, brother? There you go. How'd you do that? Wow, man, I'm tripping, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, I think my first best thing, I got a couple best things. Is that kosher? Best things plural. But
Yeah,
first one,
let's do
apparently Angie and I are just soul twins, because that's one of my best things, is the really having that revelation of working on my own stuff first, and really been focused on that for the past few weeks. I had a 6-month contract come to an end like a week after quarantine, or after the shit hit the fan in April. So it was just like, yeah, we're not going to renew that contract. Like it just made sense for their business. And I wasn't terribly bummed. Like, it was a nice, it was the biggest single income stream I had for the last 6 months, but I wasn't super, like, the subject matter just wasn't blowing my skirts up like it used to. And I was just more excited about, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. It's time to just like really focus on the music stuff. And I started doing these videos that were kind of like, half-ass best things videos, just the positive focus stuff. And have been getting a lot of really great responses to those. So there's the first best thing. It's like this, the resistance to putting out content, and like whatever it is, like overthinking authority content, being like, no, I have to have some like a case study, or I have to have something impressive to share. It's just like, no,
hard numbers to back it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But then just getting on camera, like a selfie video like this, and just saying what I was happy about, I've had all sorts of people reaching out to me, and it's just like built more, brought more attention and kept me more top of mind for people. And so it's just like, it's, even if you're just talking about being happy, it's authority content. And
exactly right.
Yeah. And so if you're having resistance to just getting on the mic or writing a quick email or whatever it is, maybe it's writer's block, just remember that right now, even more than any other time, we're all isolated and feeling alone and consuming a hell of a lot of content like all the time, because we ain't got shit to do except watch Netflix anyway. So we all have this opportunity to become someone's favorite new show. Is like, I've had fans of our band reach out and say, you guys are my favorite thing to watch. Like, every time you do a concert, that's like the highlight of my week. And so there's a best thing, that the world is hungry for entertainment, especially valuable, like stuff that is meaningful, and not just more mental junk food. And so that's a huge opportunity for all of us right now.
And by the way, I want to make sure, the Love Sprockets, get on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I love this, by the way, on YouTube, because I subscribe to you because I keep seeing your emails and I always want to catch the concerts. When you subscribe, it'll tell you like the next, it really is like a TV channel now, like a live TV channel. There'll be an ad for your next live coming up. So I'll know when it is, and you can click to get reminders. So is it the Love Sprockets? If they just look for that on YouTube, is that how they find you? Okay.
Yep. The Love Sprockets. Yeah.
Great music. So, love it all.
Yeah. Oh, and and the other thing, Angie and I are soul siblings, I guess. My dog Zoso chimes in every time I'm doing Smeal stuff too.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw you doing that on the other one in the beginning, and it was so funny because I can't see the dog, and you're just like, oh, and then Zoso starts, and you're like, sometimes it's best to get this out of the way in the beginning.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, on our YouTube, I'll just have to like play a little blues harp at the beginning, and Zoso will do his thing. It was pretty hilarious. Yeah, but so I guess that's the best thing of
that's great, dude.
Just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there, dude. And you know, the thing about authority content that I can't stress enough, and you know, we go into this in Real Free Life very deeply, like how to do authority content. And the most important thing about it is something you just pointed out, Addison, is like, you know, if you only think of it as, oh, well, the only purpose of this is for somebody to see it and then decide to want to hire me, give me money, see me as an expert or whatever, then there's all this professional pressure on it. And like you said, you get hung up on, well, I'm going to get called out, and imposter syndrome creeps in. Like, I don't have hard numbers to back that up or whatever. But when you just start sort of talking and commit to doing one piece a week or something, needing something to talk about will help you realize your authority. You'll come up with stuff, right? Or you can go back and go, what question did I answer for somebody recently that would be helpful, right? Like, is there a lesson in that might equate to the other thing? So just start going with authority content, and the things that resonate sometimes are not the things you would expect at all. A great example is like Abby Woodcock. I always think about, she was writing to her list because, you know, I'm a blogger, I got to write blogs. And one day she wrote about how her and Casey came up with systems, you know, for launching products. And she thought, this is actually going to be, this is like filler. Like, this is not going to resonate with my audience. They want to hear about writing copy. And it got such a huge response that it created a secondary industry for them, right? So it's just about creating an audience. And sometimes you never know what they really want from you. You just have to have that dialogue back and forth. And that's where the money comes from. The content creates itself once you start getting momentum. Like already you said, you're hearing what people are excited about and responding to, and it makes it so much easier to put out the next thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And
love it.
One more, can I share one more little
a
win? It's not quite a best thing, but it's a win. So, you know, it was probably a few weeks ago when I sent you some messages about like, dude, new bat signal talent idea. And I think that was after the client pulled the plug, and I was like, you know what? Okay. Screw it. It's time. Like, I need to do music stuff. And like, I know this is my bat signal talent, and I've had resistance to it. Cause I was like, well, you know, musicians are broke. Who's going to like pay me, you know, right, and all this stuff. But then I finally, you know, reached out to Papa Kev for a little affirmation that my ideas were good, you know, well, get some permission to go for it. And so then I went for it. And since then I'm working with 2 bands on their email marketing. Great. And so one band, it's pretty cool. This will be an authority content bit. So I helped them make 10 grand so far in lockdown just off their email marketing, which is like, you know,
crazy for a band who suddenly went to no gigs, no income, to have digital income. Incredible.
Exactly. Yeah. Launched their VIP program. So they've got some continuity going, and now we're just doing different sales, and it's all like profit share pay structure of where I'm just getting paid on a percentage with an advance on our projected amount revenue we're going to do for these different promotions. But so that's really cool. Like, it's happening. And also that's a bit great. Of like just this kind of the energy of like, you know what, like getting really clear on, I wasn't like, okay, I want to just do email marketing for musicians. I was like, I just want to work music related. So whether that's a music teacher, musicians, music business educator, or even someone, or whether I'm just giving music lessons. Like, I haven't done guitar lessons or voice lessons or anything like that for a decade. And now I'm starting to again. And it's not, particularly lucrative compared to copywriting, but it's so fulfilling. And then it's like the energy of like, it's all music. It's all going to be music. Then more stuff is just coming my way for music copywriting.
Yes. Creating that momentum, putting energy towards the thing you love. Again, it comes back in forms that you could not have imagined sometimes. And then now there's a cycle of energy that you just flow with, and you trust your own judgment along the way to know what's a keeper and what's a shedder. But if you don't have that energy going, there's no conversation to be had about that. There's no decisions to be made. There's no options. I want to show something, Addison. This is totally just like legit from you and I's friendship and life. And again, I'm so thrilled to hear that, dude, because I keep telling you, it's like, you don't need, like hard dollar proof. You're a veteran direct response copywriter, and you're a professional musician building your own audience. The authority's there. But this is the email I sent you yesterday, and not that anybody needs to prove to believe, but what I wrote to you is my son and I, Ben actually just came out of the studio. He's finishing up his first EP. So he's in the studio this week recording his original stuff, like super exciting, right? And so he's looking into publishing rights. And I said, well, research it. And he's looking at ASCAP and BMI, and he had some questions. And I said, who do I know? I said, who'd be a great source on this is Addison. So I texted you and you offered to help, and we'll have that conversation. But I'm sure there's some more authority content. Because I asked you to think about that, maybe there'll be some lessons in there. And so again, it's just that energy of, that's why you first to come to mind. We always talk about like that mental Rolodex. That's what a bat signal is. Like, that's your bat signal for me as a friend. I probably would have thought of you anyway because I follow your music. But knowing that you're actively thinking about that is to combine your passion with your business passion, and just makes it all that much more obvious and relevant. Something you could easily turn around and turn into authority content, and maybe even another part of your business.
I mean, the wheels have been turning since that text exchange last night of like, already thinking like, oh yeah, I should just like do a presentation where I just lay out literally all the different possible sources of income for a musician and talk about PROs and everything. Yeah.
So cool, because again, that's what I was basically telling Ben to Google last night. And nothing like that came up, like, right. So first just looking like what's out there like that. And again, even if there was 1,000 of them, Addison's isn't there yet. They're going to resonate with you, your style, your music, your way of teaching, your credibility. Hey bro, I'm going to ask you to stay on if you got time, because we're going to jump into the hot seat, and it's about an email.
Sweet.
And I know you're primarily an email copywriter, so I'd love to have you just help me with the critique. Does that sound good?
Yep. I'm going to turn off my camera for a sec here because I'm hooked up in this wrist.
And I'm muted. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I'll mute you. And let's get our, cool. So awesome. Thank you for that, Addison. Again, I love this theme, and man, it's so important to just not overthink authority content. For any of you who are in RFL right now, who happen to be here, I'm glad we're having this conversation, because it's going to be so relevant, because right now you're in the choosing your bat signal phase of RFL. And I know it's in some ways the hardest one, because you tend to feel like Addison was saying, this pressure to be so legit, and well, that's been done before. None of that matters, man. You just got to start creating that momentum. So awesome. Let me find Harrison. All right, Harrison G. Are you here to, all right, great. You raised your hand, so I'm going to have you come on. And let me find your email. Okay, cool. It's in a document.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. Awesome to be here.
It's good to have you here, man. Thanks for your patience getting on the hot seat, and I'm excited to help you out here with this. Let me just make sure I can, this doc is doing a funny thing. Here we go. Okay, cool. I've got your email open. And this is Addison Rice, by the way. Right on. So Harrison, tell us what this is about, why you're writing it, who it's for, the traffic sources, that kind of thing. Give us the context around this.
Yeah, so basically this is a first test project with a business coach who primarily help people to build a brand on Instagram and sell more on Instagram, basically. That's why his program is called Sell More on Social. And the traffic source, because it's email, so it's just email. And why I'm writing this is because I was reaching out to him. So we talked on the phone, and this is the test project where everything got paid. And also why I want to have this pretty much critiqued by you guys is that after this sequence, they sent out, I think they got very good sales from that. But after that, we didn't continue to do more projects. So I don't know, maybe something's happening in this email. Maybe they got less than they expected. Okay. So definitely want to get some feedback on that.
All right. So just to be clear, you were paid by this client and you wrote this email or this and other emails? Was it just this one?
Yeah. So I posted in the section, the copy feedback. So I have the first email that was not written by me. They already sent it out that day, but I wrote the following 5 emails.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So, all right, great. So, what we'll do is we won't have time to read through 5 emails.
Of course,
but
maybe you can pick one.
Yeah, I want to make sure we give you the best help. So just for context, here they are. And this is the one not written by you.
Yep.
Harrison. Okay. And then you wrote this one subsequent to this. Yeah. Okay. And the situation with the client is that you wrote these and submitted them and heard nothing after that, or what?
They pretty much just said, thank you, we'll check it out. And then they sent out the email because I received it, but then they pretty much didn't get back to me.
You saw it come through, you know they used it, and they did pay you for the work?
Yeah, they paid in advance.
It wasn't on spec. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. So I think it'll serve us to read the first one so that we, assuming that this is one they're happy with, it's a standard email in their funnel, Harrison, yeah?
I'm not sure if they're happy with it. They just say that's pretty much, they find someone to write the email. I don't think that person is trained.
Okay. So we don't even know if they like this one, but you didn't write this one.
No.
Okay. So this is the one I think I read and thought you wrote. So it's good to know that was not you. Okay. And Yaha Bakar, is that how you say that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the guru. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the one you wrote is, we are in a pandemic, subject line. Hey, Addison, we are in a pandemic, not COVID-19, but something else completely. And it's a damn tragedy. A tragedy. The tragedy isn't that we are stuck at home and can't live our normal lives. The tragedy is most people will come out of this the same person they were when it all started. Nice. Or in some cases, they've spent so much time on the hub, Netflix, social media, that they've robbed themselves of all motivation, skills, and drive that they once had. And that's just sad to see. When everything is on pause, it's easy to become lazy, slack off, and get behind on your goals. But a lot of people still haven't realized this is actually the best time for a massive change. My team and I have been working so hard behind the scenes to bring you the best training during this quarantine, but I have to admit, sometimes I didn't really feel it, but I know this is the best opportunity for me to grow my brand and help more people. So why am I telling you all this? If you're serious about hitting your first 10K a month in the next 90 days, now is your time, because there's never been a better time to promote your brand on social media. That's also why I'm opening up my social media selling system again. And with my birthday coming up this week, I'm doing something pretty crazy. You can get the entire social media selling system for 94% off. I don't want the price to stop you from achieving your dreams amid the crisis. Let's take action on something that will last longer than the pandemic. The discount expires on Friday, midnight, Pacific time. Use the code birthday gift, B-Day gift. Okay, to your legacy. Okay, cool. So my first thoughts, first of all, I'm going to forego my thoughts about how the offer is positioned, because that's what you were given to write about. So I'm not going to criticize that. but I
Yeah,
don't
I
like
don't think it's
how the offers
I don't think it is either.
Yeah, but that's cool because sometimes you got to take what they give you and just write the damn thing, right? So regarding the writing, first of all, smooth, brother. Like I think your style is great. It was super easy to follow. It all made sense to me without the benefit of reading how these escalate and just focusing on email 2 here. Again, I guess we needed the context of email 1, but I would have said maybe like, okay, foregoing the birthday thing. I think you could have maybe got right to it, the opportunity quicker than this clever thing. I mean, it's good and we want it to feel personal, but I think you definitely could have skipped some of that preamble and said, you know, a 2-sentence thing about, you know, there's 2 kinds of experiences people during this pandemic. One is the tragedy we see on the news every day, and you know, our heart goes out to those people. However, other people are finding this to be the best opportunity of their life, and here's how. You know what I'm saying? Something like that where it gets right into it. So that's one suggestion, and I'll let you respond to that because again, it may be in other emails. Does it escalate like that? Is it this a series where basically they get shorter and shorter, assuming people have been reading what's been going up to them?
So pretty much the first one, they already wrote this a pretty short, around just on point. Here's the discount. So the day 2, 3, 4, it's a little bit longer. That has some different variation to the lead. Sometimes they use a like just a fun fact. And in email 2, I used we're in the pandemic, but not COVID-19. But the last email, pretty much it's like a last chance. So that was pretty short. But I do agree with you. I think I went a little bit too long. I maybe waited a little bit too long before presenting the offer.
Yeah. And here's what I'd be telling the marketing director or this guru if they were on this hot seat. I'd say, man, this is all about you. This is all about, it's your birthday and we created this great thing. And for no apparent reason, we're taking 94% off. It reeks of a desperate offer, you know? And to me, that's my biggest problem with it. It's hard to judge your copy, Harrison, on this because you've been put into a nasty little box on a shitty offer that's got some weird appeal behind it. So I want to acknowledge that, man, and hopefully still give you some helpful critiques. Addison, what do you see, brother?
Yeah, so I agree with you, Kev. Like I think we could get to the offer a little quicker and also not make so what I saw was it was kind of like started out like I like that hook. The COVID-19 is not the tragedy. The tragedy is that we're all turning into couch potatoes instead of like improving ourselves. And so, but it was like you kind of harped on that. And I feel like that, like for me reading that, if I was the prospect and, you know, just in a kind of a different, like during the pandemic, I have gone through, you know, there was a week or 2 where I was watching a lot more TV than I really would have liked to. And I think so in that first part, it kind of activates a little bit of like self-judgment or guilt or whatever. It like activates, yeah, that's not the person I want to be. But then you don't really balance it out yet in this current iteration. It's like you start out basically like there's a lot of people and who are doing this and you're not saying, and if you're one of them, you should feel bad about yourself, but it kind of just is, you know, implicated in a way. But then it goes to, in the guru's voice, yeah, like I've struggled with this offer and I've done my own thing, but I realize this is my best opportunity to grow my brand and all that stuff. So it's about them or about the guru versus, you know, I would shift it to be more like people are watching a lot more Netflix and not pursuing their goals. But imagine in this kind of time capsule you have right here, you could be here like a couple things. You could just like start doing 5 push-ups an hour. If you're home all day, you could start getting more exercise than you ever have. You could you could like start inspiring them and being like, really painting the picture of all the opportunities that are within their reach in this period of time, and then transition to, and the best way to do that is, you know, and because I want to equip you with the tools to make that change, I have decided to do the special 95% off thing in my new program, so that there's no excuse, you know, even if your income's been affected by the pandemic, then you can still afford it, etc. So instead of making it about the guru and about his own thing and how he overcame his inertia and is doing this thing to grow his business, to shift it about like, if you're experiencing inertia, here's what it, just imagine what you could be doing with just a little shift in your daily stuff.
Yeah,
so
keep
it about them.
Yeah, for sure. Great tip there. And again, man, I feel like this guru, I did click through and see some of the videos, Harrison, on the product, and you know, I know who this guy is. You know, I don't know personally. I know the type, and right now he feels like he's the king of the world and invincible, and everybody should just want to buy a piece of him. Like I get that. You know what I mean? But he could really benefit from a savvy writer like you coming in and go, hey, can we humanize this just a touch? This might help, you know? But the thing I love that Addison said is so cool is like, that's such a great tactic for not making it about you. It's like, here's some other ways to make a simple change and create momentum. You know, I just started doing 5 push-ups a day, or walking around the block 5 times a day, and science shows that doing just that activates a part of your brain that stems off, you know, depression and paranoia, whatever. And just give a little science and then say, that's what inspired me to make this offer, because I would love for you to put that same little bit of energy towards creating what could be a life-changing side income for you to get started, you know? And the other thing I want to point out is just the way you're framing the discount. 95% off, first of all, to me, it's almost sounds sketchy, like, man, that's a fire sale. Like, that is such a big discount. And I also have no idea what it costs still, because 95% off of what? I still don't know if that's affordable. Were you instructed to, or were you thinking that as a tactic of, well, I want to hint that there's a big discount, but they got to click through to see what it is? Or
quite frankly, I have no idea what will make the difference. So in that email, I just said 95 and like 96, 94%. In other emails, I said, here's your $4,700 discount.
Oh, that's even worse. Holy shit. What's the price of the thing? So was it
5K.
300? Oh, so it's 300 right now?
Well, during that period, yeah.
Okay, but normally 5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. This guy needs.
It's kind of like a going out of business discount.
Yeah, man. It's like, look, I'm about to go on the lam from the authority.
It reminds me of like Harbor Freight magazines, where every single magazine it's all discounts. Like but I just never forget the headline, "Urgent Blowout." Like, and they're just like, and every month they say there's an urgent blowout, and like, get 85% off your rakes and your blah blah, and then it's like every single, like, okay, so your entire store is having a urgent, like.
Yeah.
Like, seems like a going out of business sale every time. Yeah.
Again. Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh God. That's so funny. Okay, cool. Well, I hope this is helpful, Harrison. You seem like a really bright guy, and your writing is smooth, bro. Like, you're in the right place doing the right thing. Yeah. And I'd love to give you another critique on something that resonates more with you. And dude, if you haven't already, jump into the workshop we're doing now. In the other monthly workshops, I would just love to see your chops and be able to see what you write about when you get to choose.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Great meeting you, man. Addison, thanks for hanging out, bro. Great critique. And that's it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Please dive into the workshops. Go watch Chris Training replay if you haven't seen it yet. You got till Wednesday to submit your over-the-top, super fun onboarding email with a little upsell and some cash and prizes coming your way. So have fun with that, and we will see you inside. Bye, everybody.